Welcome to another episode of Real Dad Movement Podcast. The point and purpose of these episodes, as always, is to have a point and purpose towards helping you win the second half in life by building a path of becoming the best father, husband, man, and member of your community that you can be. We do this with various ways of connecting. Life is connection. And as you hear these words spoken time and time again, know that the driving force of connection in life is energy, which means that how you turn up as a father, as a husband, as a valued member of society will always start and end with how you turn up as a man within yourself first. This is why it's my mission, my purpose, our mission, our purpose, through Real Dad Movement to inspire, motivate, educate and guide you into thoughts, feelings, actions, and a change in your belief systems to rise up, cut the shit from your life, and live and leave a real legacy. When dads win, everyone wins. And when you win, I win. Let's get moving forward, mate. Right here, right now.
Yeah, it's all over the place, but that's all right. All good to go.
Look how much hair you have though, mate.
Mate, I know. This lockdown, mate, it's helping things really well. Like, it's the longest hair I've ever had in my life.
That's because you're a weapon, mate. You look after yourself. But we're just before we dive in this episode, I've just spent the last 25 minutes admiring Ken's hair.
I'm glad I've got some.
Good head of hair already. But welcome to another episode, guys. Those either watching on YouTube or listening on our various podcast platforms. This is an exciting episode. One, because we've got the man, the maestro, Mr. Ken Lavander. Welcome, sir. Thank you for joining us again.
Welcome, Al, and hopefully we've got some sleep.
Yeah, that's right. That's one of the reasons of today's episode, to give you guys a snapshot of what a day, a week looks in the life of Al and also in the life of Ken, and understanding the value of what we bring here is creating adaptability and flexibility, which is a great point that Ken always makes, to each man's individual needs, because it changes. And we're going to go through my routines, what I do, why I do what I do. Ken's going to break them down. He's going to talk about alternate scenarios, because there are many parts that are all Al's parts, but which one is the best? And that's why I work closely with Ken. He's going to help me through this. But I've just listed a couple of points, just why, because it's not about why we do things. It's not about just the human body and becoming superhuman. For me, it's about how that ties into the structure of, one, leveraging that for my family and other moving parts of my life, but two, making sure that I'm also spending time and focusing on other parts of my life, one of them being right here and now in RDM. So what we'll do is we'll dive into a weekly routine for me, what I do, and then what I do on a daily basis. But before I start that, I'd love to throw it onto Ken first, and just to talk about the importance of changing up the game plan, being flexible and finding the path that suits you, and probably a couple of core elements, if you want, Ken, of what the framework is around how we build each individual plan or tailor each plan, mate, and why that's important.
No, yeah, it's a really good point. And what we need to be really aware of is that we need to put a plan together. That's what it's all about. Like, success builds, you have to build a plan and understand what your day-to-day routine is. Most of us, and I'll kind of put my hand up and say, I really, really like routine. And I know there's some key areas in my day-to-day routines that I pretty much don't go without. But remember, with all of this, it's not about what you do from day to day or week to week. It's really about what you can do over that 12-month period. Remember, and I'll emphasize very, very strongly that your body rebuilds itself, 98% of it, over 12 months, and the next 2 years, that other 2%. And so this is why we've got to be thinking about what our day-to-day routines are. And hey, listen, we go on holidays, we have different things that we can't control in our immediate life through family, self and service, as you advocate a lot of, Al, and there's things that we can control. But always you need to have a plan. And at least if you're kind of wanting to make a big change, 90% of your structure should be followed if you want to see big change. The maintenance is the 80-20 rule, where 80% of the time you're obviously looking at least that maintenance plan. And remember, that goes for finance, it goes for relationship, it goes for everything within your life. And again, like 20% of the world's population generally or generates, the most amount of money, the most amount of success, or even up to like the 10%, and 90% or 80% of the population is just kind of hanging on for the ride. And so this is where we slot ourselves into that top 10. And that's what we're trying to do, strive for excellence, but without a plan, a day-to-day plan, or at least a week and a month plan, that micro stuff from that day to day. Then we start to get into the meso stuff, the month to month, and then the macro, where we start looking at that 1, 3, 5 year and potentially 10-year plan. So they're really important to have structure within that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what we spoke about one of our sessions last night with our platinum guys, talking about playing the percentages. If you're 95% strict or even 90% strict over 5 days, the weekend you can pull back to about 60, 65% adherence. So that's a lot of leeway. That's cutting down a third of perceived discipline or what you would normally do as your plan. And you're still going to hit, like Ken said, that roughly that 80 to 85% mark on the success rate of being consistent in what's important for you to keep moving forward. Problem is people go into the minuses, Ken. The weekend comes and they go from maybe 100%. All right, I was a saint for 5 days, and then they fucking blow themselves out of the water and go to minus 150%. By going crazy with drugs, alcohol, technology, TV, like everything coming through your sensory perceptions, your chemical adjustments inside of your body through technology, through drugs, through foods, through copious amounts of foods or superficial or artificial products, not foods, but we call them products. But this is where people miss the mark. I was really good. I was tracking. I'm only on 1,500 calories a day. I'm like, 1, that's way too fucking little. And 2, yeah, but you're having like 9,000, 10,000 calories on the weekend of all this shit. Have you not counted that? Oh, I forgot, So it's really important to, 1, play the percentages, but 2, I love the angle that Ken comes from with routines, and everyone has a different opinion or perception around the words self-control and discipline. I've done podcasts before, Ken, where I don't believe they actually need to be in place for a long period of time. Like what Ken does every day, which he'll share, it's a habit, which is a belief system. It's part of who he is. And I know some guys out there, you might wear that discipline badge of honor, like this is because I'm disciplined. Well, no, you're disciplined for the first portion of your journey. But then, like Ken said, if we're going to describe 12 months, like what are you guys going to get out of this? Everything I'm going to share with you this week and what I do daily, I've been doing consistently, but I'm not going to sit down and just go, so over 12 months, I've done 180 training sessions. I've journaled, 248 times. What would that mean? So the long game is absolutely critical, just like Ken's saying. That's what creates the new version of you. But what I love today is we're going to strip this back to help you understand, 1, the small disciplines you need to put in place, but 2, why that goes from being either a discipline or a form of self-control or a tussle. As you would know, Ken, with a lot of your clients, all of our clients, it's a to and fro battle until all of a sudden there's a breakthrough and it becomes part of who you are. What's the general time frame though, mate? Because I know we have some amazing accelerators inside of what we do because of how deep we dive into our processes with these men. But what is the general range you would find where we can get someone implementing some of the things that you and I will share and it becoming something that sticks? Is it 3 months? Is it 6 months? Is it 12 months? Like when does it become like, cool, I've got it? Or in your experience, when have you found that to be the sweet spot?
The sweet spot really comes down to someone's mindset. It's what goes on within their day-to-day life. And that's something that is really, really, really comes down to the individual. This is why we look at the 3 things. But when it comes to this situation, it's the mindset. It's what obstacles are in place and what you've overcome. And is it actually something that is very close to you, as far as if you've had someone that's had some kind of terminal illness around you and they've passed away and whatever else, well then all of a sudden that mindset becomes very, very focused. So that's why you have to look at every individual on what their current situation or what their past situation's been. I can promise you now, when I was inside of, say, Fitness First as a cluster manager and looking after more than